Hi all, welcome back to Moonli. I hope everyone's having a good day. My day did not start out like this. I decided that I wanted to make a YouTube video today talking about my period and why I love it now. So let's get started. So why do I love my period? So I started my period when I was actually 10. So I was like, back then that was pretty young. Now I feel like the ages between 10 and 12 is on average. Back then people were still starting their periods between 13 and 16. So I was really young. So when I first started, I was taking my pad and tampon to school, like stuffed in my gym shoe, like, oh, nobody can know this like horrible secret. And I would say for the most part, I had like a major good like female influence. My parents were divorced, so I mainly had my mom and my sister around, which was super helpful because they could kind of help guide me through like, all right, well, you're bleeding through that tampon, let's up it. And I also had a female swim coach at the time, so I was really lucky I could go to her and be like, hey, I'm having really horrible cramps. And she's like, yep, you don't need to explain, you're good to go, you're fine, go home, feel better. That I super appreciate. But as I got older and my period cramps got worse, I was learning that my period was an inconvenience for the education system. It was an inconvenience for swim team. It was an inconvenience for doctors. And that really angers me. My mom obviously was always there for me, always there to back me. But because I was in this sport where we were training 4 to 5 hours a day, if my period started and changed my migraines, or I started getting period cramps down my leg, or got horrific diarrhea or constipation that caused horrible stomach issues, that was a problem for school. That was a problem for swim team. And so we would go to the doctors and the doctors would be like, well, in reality, I'm just gonna put you on the pill because there's nothing else we can do for you. I felt like I was an inconvenience for everyone. That's what I grew up thinking. And I think so many of us think that is, we wanna go to the doctors, we wanna explain to people, hey, we're having this issue, but we're told that it's normal. That's my issue, is we go to the doctor and say, hey, I'm having this horrible PMS, I'm having these horrible cramps, I'm having this heavy bleeding. But no, we go to the doctor and they say, well, there's not much you can do. You know, you're young, you're healthy in terms of everything else. Here's the birth control pill. Good luck. I just think it's like a rite of passage, but it's not. Why do I love my period now? Is because I've actually educated myself to know that nothing I was experiencing was normal. I understand that my heavy bleeding, my cramps, my migraines, my PMS, the bloating, the random weight gain, the constipation, none of it was normal. It was all just part of a system that failed women. That is what it comes down to. They did not want to do research enough into conventional medicine to tell women that, oh, okay, so you're in 8th grade, but for some reason you have to wear a supersized tampon because you're literally bleeding through a regular tampon and pad when you go to school. That's normal. It should not be normal. That is my problem. So for me, gathering education about my menstrual cycle and to find out that none of it is normal and that there were solutions to it has been the most empowering thing for me. The reason I love my period is because I can understand that, hey, this month I unfortunately ate too much sugar. Like for example, around Christmas, I ate too much sugar. I know that that period is not gonna be the best period that it could be. I know that it might be heavy, the cramps might last longer, they might be more horrific, but I can understand why. And then, for example, now that Christmas has passed, I have cut out foods that I am allergic to or sensitive to. I sure sometimes still have sugar, but I try to stick it to natural sugar like honey or maple syrup. I work with my body, I work with my menstrual cycle so that my period is basically the report card that I get at the beginning of the month. It can tell me how did things go, and now I get to look at my period and I have a normal period. I no longer have blood clotting. I had blood clotting for years. Even while I was on the birth control pill, I still had clots coming out of my period blood. I still had heavy, horrific bleeding because that had become my normal because I had been told that that was normal. And it's just disappointing to me that that is what so many women are taught. And the other reason I love my period is because it's a sign of power. And there's certain cultures out there that actually value the women's menstrual cycle. Don't get me wrong, there's definitely cultures out there where they still ban women off to huts and women and young girls are dying in huts while they're on their period because their period is seen as a disgusting thing. But there are traditions out there that believe that the period is this passage to womanhood, which is seen as a beautiful thing, and they celebrate, they get food, the girls get dressed up, and they get celebrated within their entire community. That's how I think all menstruation should be looked at. I don't think it should be looked at as a negative thing, because it is a natural process that we go through, and it shouldn't be shut off just because we have problems with it. There should be investigation. There should be deeper understanding of, okay, why are you experiencing these problems? That's what I want all of you to understand, is that there is an answer. I am not a healthcare professional. I am not a doctor. So no, I cannot diagnose you with anything, not legally at all. But I want you to know that you deserve to find the resources, to find the right professional who is going to help you. I personally see an acupuncturist. Obviously, she can't diagnose me with anything, but she helps support me through the symptoms I experience with endo and fibroids. And it's made my period amazing. I love my period. I love getting it. I love getting my menstrual cups ready. I love getting my period underwear ready. Like, all right, my period's coming. We're on to the next phase of the cycle. I love my period. It is empowering to know that I can take charge of my body. It's empowering to know that I have this full notebook that tells me where my hormones are, what phase of the cycle I'm in. That is so amazing. And I think everyone deserves to have that. You deserve to know how your body works. You deserve to know that your vagina looks like your vagina, and that is normal. Your vulva looks like your vulva, that's normal. That maybe you have a bit of a longer menstrual cycle phase. So for me, my menstrual cycle phase is usually between 27 to 29 days. That's my body. My friend might only be between 24 and 27 days, and that's her body. That should be okay to talk about, and we should be okay communicating about our menstrual cycle issues. I love that I have women on Instagram message me and say, oh, I saw your post today about middle schmerz or about PMS, and I experienced this exact same thing, and I've tried this and it's really helped, or I have had this issue, do you have any resources? And I can gather those resources for them and be like, hey, here's Dr. Jolene Brighton's articles on these. I really respect her as a naturopathic doctor, and here you go. And they can run with that information so that they can understand what's going on with their body a bit more. That's what I want for all of you. I want you guys to create a relationship with your body that's not shut down. We're in a male-dominated society that basically tells us our bodies are inconvenient. If we get pregnant, we're inconvenient. If we bleed, we are inconvenient. If we're emotional, we're inconvenient. We are not inconvenient. We are allowed to hold space. And our period and our menstrual cycle are part of our being, and that is okay. There is power in that. Learning about your body and learning that you do not deserve to be in pain is incredibly powerful. And that is my spiel for today. So thanks for visiting. I think originally this video was meant to be about why I love my period. I also went into like my advocating rant, but I hope you all enjoyed it. And if you have any stories about how when you started your period, or how you have fell in love with your period, you found your own feminine energy and gotten out of this male-dominated society that tells us to shut it down, to shut it up because it's not convenient for this society, comment below. Let me know. I'd love to hear the stories. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, hit like, hit subscribe if you want to stay tuned for future videos. And also you can follow me on Instagram at moonli.women. All right, thanks for visiting, guys. See ya. Bye.